Cups of Enchantment. Hi, thank you for watching the videos. I really appreciate it. I really do. And so on this Sunday evening, we're talking about a company called Cups of Enchantment. Links in the description below. Cups of Enchantment is a company that I started in 2015, the year that my daughter was born, and very, very interesting backstory about the interesting origin story of this particular company. But it has been and always will continue to be one of my favorite companies, in that we actually enjoyed some success before our most recent debacle, as far as growth concerns, when we tried to add a food truck to the scheme of how we operated business. And so again, check out the links in the description below. There's nearly a decade worth of growth, as it would be, from starting out in a park with a 10 by 10 throw up tent to getting exclusive contracts for dispensaries in Arizona, to then opening a food truck, and then losing out on that economic opportunity as a result of just post-pandemic and high rising costs for both food and operation. And so this digital diary excerpt is particularly important for me, in that I need it to have for myself, so that regardless of what may or may not happen in the future, I can look back on it as a learning experience. And so just recently, I found out that Disney is actually is selling a drink at its theme park in Orlando, Florida, and they're calling it Cup of Enchantment, and the name of my company is Cups of Enchantment. And so I'm curious to see if Disney is willing to essentially pay for the name of my company. And that is kind of, something new that's happening for me. But again, check out the links in the description below. Tell me what you think in terms of if you confuse Cups of Enchantment with Cup of Enchantment. And I'm curious to really hear some feedback on this. And again, I'm not expecting or anticipating any immediate sort of feedback, but as the channel continues to grow, and as the digital documentation continues to compile, as it concerns, my personal and business endeavors, I feel like it's just a good reference point to refer back to later on for whatever purposes. And so I've always been a huge Disney fan in terms of like some of the production that they put out, and I've always try to benefit them, or try to compliment them when I can, rather. And so I'm really hoping that, as the company I would assume they would, be willing to pay for the name, so that they can continue to sell not just that drink, but have legal rights and access to the entire name, so that they can utilize it as such, instead of just Cup of Enchantment, right? And it just needs to be Cups. And so other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I found out just about the name of the company and the mix-up with the Disney sold beverage recently, like just a couple of hours ago. And so that's always interesting. I was doing some research and trying to get back into my old Facebook account, which I was able to do, and I hadn't had access to it in well over a year and a half. And so you guys ever had that moment where you get to log back into one of your old main accounts and everything's cherry, and that's kind of how it is now, at least in the interim for that. And so I'm really excited about seeing what happens, if anything at all. And worst case scenario, we own a company called Cups of Enchantment, so that, I guess, won't ever change in that regard. But I'm hoping for some better news in terms of perhaps an option to sell. And I know that I dream at a remarkable rate, in terms of just, I always am dreaming. I'm always setting goals and moving forward and stuff. And so I never get too excited about any of my sort of new ideas at first, but I'm convinced that one day an idea or two is bound to work out for me in terms of business wise, right? And so yeah, Cups of Enchantment.